In the complex and often dangerous world of international relations, a nation's ability to protect its own borders and ensure its sovereignty is paramount. True peace is rarely a gift. It is a state of security earned and maintained through strength and vigilance. A country that cannot defend itself is at the mercy of larger, more aggressive powers, its fate decided not by its own people, but by the ambitions of others. History is filled with sad stories of nations that placed their trust in promises and treaties only to find themselves abandoned when those agreements were tested. For any country, especially one in a volatile region, the ultimate guarantee of its survival is its own capacity to deter aggressors and stand firm in the face of threats. This principle is not about seeking conflict, but about ensuring peace through undeniable strength. The story of modern Ukraine serves as a powerful and tragic lesson in this reality. When the mighty Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, Ukraine found itself in a unique position. It had inherited a vast and formidable nuclear arsenal, making it the third largest nuclear power in the world. This collection included approximately 1,700 nuclear warheads, along with strategic bombers and intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of reaching distant targets. This incredible power was not something Ukraine had sought, but it was a legacy of the Cold War that placed it on the global stage. The possession of these weapons gave the newly independent nation a powerful deterrent, a shield that no adversary could ignore, ensuring its territorial integrity was respected from the very beginning. However, the international community, led by the United States, pressured Ukraine to give up this inherited power. Under programs designed to reduce the post-Soviet nuclear threat, Ukraine was persuaded to dismantle its entire arsenal. In exchange for surrendering its ultimate security guarantee, Ukraine received financial assistance, and more importantly, a solemn promise. This promise came in the form of the 1994 Budapest Memorandum, signed by the United States, the United Kingdom, and Russia. These powerful nations gave their formal assurance that they would respect Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, and existing borders. Trusting in these powerful guarantors, Ukraine completed the process, sending its warheads to Russia for decommissioning and destroying its missile silos and bombers. The decision was seen at the time as a victory for global peace and nuclear non-proliferation. Ukraine was celebrated for its responsible choice, trading its weapons for a promise of collective security. The nation looked forward to a future where it could build its democracy and economy under the protective watch of the world's leading powers. It placed its faith in the power of international law and the word of its partners, believing that these assurances were as strong as the concrete walls of its now empty missile silos. Little did the Ukrainian people know that this trust would be betrayed, and the price for their decision would be paid in blood, soil, and sovereignty in the decades to come. The security assurances given to Ukraine in the Budapest Memorandum proved to be tragically hollow. The paper they were written on offered no real protection when one of the signatories, Russia, decided to violate them. The first major breach occurred in 2014 when Russian forces annexed the Crimean Peninsula, a clear and flagrant violation of Ukraine's sovereignty. The world watched, and while there were condemnations and sanctions, there was no decisive military intervention from Ukraine's supposed protectors to reverse the aggression. The promises that had convinced Ukraine to disarm were shown to be weak. Without its nuclear deterrent, Ukraine was unable to prevent a powerful neighbor from seizing a piece of its territory. A stark reminder that international guarantees are only as strong as the will to enforce them. The situation escalated dramatically and catastrophically in February 2022, when Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This was not a limited incursion, but a brutal, all-out war aimed at subjugating the entire nation. Cities were bombarded, civilians were targeted, and a massive humanitarian crisis unfolded. Ukraine, a country that had once possessed the means to deter any such attack, was now forced to fight for its very existence with conventional weapons, relying on the support of Western allies. The assistance, while substantial, came only after the invasion had begun. The ultimate shield was gone, and the nation was left vulnerable to a devastating assault that has since cost hundreds of thousands of lives and displaced millions of people. The invasion laid bare the harsh truth. Ukraine's decision to trade its nuclear weapons for security assurances was a historic mistake. The Budapest Memorandum offered no mechanism for enforcement, leaving Ukraine exposed. The nations that had promised to protect its sovereignty were unwilling to risk a direct military confrontation with a nuclear-armed Russia to defend Ukraine. This critical imbalance of power meant that Russia could act with a degree of impunity that would have been unthinkable if Ukraine had retained even a fraction of its original nuclear arsenal. The conflict became a grim illustration of the principle that in geopolitics, a nation's own deterrent is its only reliable defense against existential threats from a larger, aggressive neighbor. Today, Ukraine's future remains uncertain. After years of brutal fighting, it has suffered immense infrastructure damage, lost control over significant territory, and faces the daunting task of rebuilding. The war has shown that while international support is valuable, it is no substitute for a nation's own sovereign power to protect itself. Ukraine's story is a cautionary tale for the entire world, but it resonates most deeply with nations that face similar geopolitical challenges. It is a lesson written in the rubble of Ukrainian cities and the courage of its people. When it comes to national survival, promises from others are a poor substitute for the power to defend oneself. For Pakistan, the lessons from Ukraine's tragic experience are not merely academic. They are directly relevant to our own national security and survival. Our country is situated in one of the world's most challenging and volatile regions, sharing a long and historically fraught border with India, a much larger neighbor with its own powerful military and nuclear ambitions. Since its inception, Pakistan has faced existential threats that have required it to maintain a posture of credible deterrence. The development of our nuclear program was not a choice born of aggression, but a necessary response to a security environment where our sovereignty was constantly at risk. Our nuclear capability is the ultimate guarantor of our national security, ensuring that no adversary can contemplate large-scale military aggression against us. This nuclear deterrent creates a strategic balance in South Asia, preventing the outbreak of a major conventional war that would be catastrophic for the entire region. It is this shield that has maintained a fragile but essential peace for decades. Unlike Ukraine, which gave up its deterrent, Pakistan has wisely held onto its most critical strategic asset. This capability ensures that our destiny remains in our own hands. We do not have to rely on the promises of other nations, which, as the Ukrainian case so clearly demonstrates, can evaporate when put to the test. Our nuclear weapons are a sovereign right and a non-negotiable component of our defense strategy, providing the security umbrella under which our nation can grow and prosper. Despite this clear strategic necessity, there are sometimes voices, both internationally and even within Pakistan, that suggest we should consider relinquishing our nuclear program. These arguments often speak of global peace and the economic benefits of disarmament. However, these calls are dangerously naive and ignore the harsh realities of our geopolitical landscape. Giving up our nuclear deterrent would be a strategic blunder of historic proportions, leaving us vulnerable to coercion and aggression. It would be an open invitation for our adversaries to exploit our weakness, just as Russia exploited Ukraine's. The security of 240 million Pakistanis cannot be gambled away on the basis of hollow assurances or idealistic visions that do not align with the world as it is. Therefore, we must remain resolute in our commitment to maintaining a credible minimum deterrent. This is not a matter of choice, but of necessity. The safety and security of our future generations depend on the tough decisions we make today. We must educate our people on why this capability is so crucial and stand firm against any pressure to compromise on our national defense. Ukraine's story is a solemn reminder that in the world of nations, weakness invites aggression, while strength preserves peace. Pakistan's nuclear program is our shield, and we must ensure it remains strong, secure, and under our sovereign control forever. While a strong military and a credible nuclear deterrent are essential for national security, they are only one part of the equation. A nation's defense is only as strong as the economy that supports it. Even the most powerful military can be undermined by internal economic collapse. The Soviet Union itself did not fall because of a foreign invasion. It crumbled from within due to economic stagnation, systemic inefficiencies, and its inability to provide for its people. This teaches us a vital lesson. True national strength is a combination of both military power and economic stability. For Pakistan, this means that safeguarding our future requires us to focus just as intently on building a resilient and prosperous economy as we do on maintaining our defense. For too long, Pakistan has struggled with economic challenges that threaten to weaken our foundations. We must now take decisive and practical steps to put our economic house in order, ensuring that our defense capabilities are sustained by a vibrant and self-reliant nation. The first step is to drastically cut wasteful government spending and eliminate the culture of elite privileges that drains our national resources. We must reduce non-essential expenditures and channel that money toward productive sectors of the economy. This includes supporting our small and medium-sized enterprises, which are the true engine of job creation and growth. By providing them with easier access to credit and a simpler regulatory environment, we can unleash a wave of grassroots economic activity. Furthermore, we must prioritize the basic needs of our citizens. A strong nation is built by a healthy, educated, and secure population. This means investing in quality healthcare, accessible education, and social safety nets that protect the most vulnerable. When people feel that the state is working for their welfare, they become its greatest defenders. We also need a fair tax system where everyone, especially the wealthy and powerful, pays their due share. This will broaden our revenue base and reduce our dependence on foreign loans, which often come with conditions that compromise our sovereignty. Reforming our economy is not just about numbers, it is about building a just and equitable society where every Pakistani has the opportunity to succeed. In conclusion, the path to a secure and prosperous future for Pakistan lies in embracing a dual strategy, maintaining our unshakable military and nuclear deterrent while simultaneously building a robust, independent, and fair economy. The cautionary tale of Ukraine reminds us that peace is a product of strength, and strength has both military and economic dimensions. By making smart, people-centric economic reforms, we can fortify our nation from within, ensuring that our shield of defense is supported by a foundation of prosperity. True sovereignty means being strong enough to defend our borders and prosperous enough to control our own destiny, ensuring peace and security for generations to come.